Oh, there we go. All right. Let's see if we can check the lighting and figure out what we got going on here. All right, that looks pretty good. I think you can see just about what you need to. I got the darkness going on over here so that we're not blinding out the camera this time. We're learning. We're learning. Hey, off-road mud mowers. Can't imagine a guy like you showing up on a live chat like this. So hopefully this time I look a little less creepy and I look like I'm actually talking to you. It's one of the things that everybody said was kind of wrong with my last live chat. Apparently with the last live chat, because I had my camera off to one side and I had the screen that you guys were sending me comments on the over to the side, that people felt it creepy that I seemed like I was staring off into space. So we've got the camera more centralized this time, and we'll try this, see how you guys like it, and whether the microphone picks up. If you can hear like a wind sound or anything going on right now, that'll stop in just a sec. The background is moving around because my hot air furnace hasn't throttled down yet. And for those of you who deal with hot air furnaces, you know that you got to wait for the heat to come down before it'll shut off. So it'll get there soon, and the whole wavy background will calm down a bit. I figured this was probably better for the live chat than my complicated mess of random garbage. Tell me what you guys think. Is this better, or did you like the complicated mess of garbage better for the background while we're talking? That's not to say I can't throw the thing up and you can look at the complicated garbage, but whatever works. Let's see. All right, let's see if we can switch this chat to live. Let's see. All right, let's see there. All right, we got I like green, so therefore, okay, so we're back over to live chat now, so I should be able to see what you guys throw down at this point. Let's see. Are we going to start this without a hello frenzy? Never. Never. I've been going to live chats ever since it became a thing on YouTube, and you never start without a hello frenzy. It just is what it is. You got to kind of jump through them and call it good. But all right. So you guys like the green? That's good. You like how nice and smooth it is now? Oh, fine, be that way. Like the garbage better. Look, there's some garbage right there. That's for you. There's your garbage. Actually, I'll pull in some more garbage as we're talking, and we'll go from there. I mean, we got plenty of garbage inside of this garage. You guys have seen the updates. I'm sure I can pull some in. Who knows? I mean, maybe I can put random garbage on the back of that, and we can be like the Price is Right going on, and then I can just like throw it up there, and you guys can try and guess what it is changed or something. You know, who knows? Jake wants to ask turbo flathead build. Jake, I'm not exactly sure why anybody would ever build a turbo flathead. Turbos are a really interesting concept. I'm not really a turbo guy, but when you design a carburetor to work with a turbo, you have to totally redo the jet system and things like that. And it's all a bunch of mechanical stuff that nobody would ever care to do to a lawn tractor carburetor. So you're going to have to totally just do it on your own and hope that you get it right in order to get some actual power. That's not to say that they haven't had people that have turbocharged stuff and that they have, well, quote unquote, proven that they managed to go and pull some more horsepower. There actually was a guy about 2 or 3 years or so ago. He had a opposed twin, I believe it was, or maybe it was an overhead valve twin, but he did his turbo setup and he showed that his pulley swap tractor before the turbo setup was capable of doing 21 miles per hour. Supposedly, without ever swapping any pulleys underneath and everything, supposedly after doing his turbo swap, he was able to do 25 miles per hour. Now, the problem is he could have just tweaked his governor in order to go and gain a few RPMs more, and he still would have been able to go and do the same 25. And theoretically, once you get it spinning up through to the RPM that it's capable of, it doesn't matter whether you have a turbo or not. So I don't know. I don't get into the whole turbocharging lawn tractors thing because it's a big giant throw of money that I could definitely put other places. Hit the like button, everybody. Hey, thanks, man. They'll like it if they like it. I mean, I'm just some idiot sitting here in a chair. You like my new chair, by the way? I think this thing is pretty cool. I got this off of Amazon and thought this was awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it a ton. Very comfortable. You know, it's got the brace support down in below, and I like the fact that it comes in just over my shoulders. So when I get to go and doing green screen stuff more, I'll be able to go and have it actually see me. The reason why my green screen on that last video that I tried as an experiment, why I'm sitting weirdly sideways, is because the chair I was in actually came to here. So yeah, it is what it is. Hello from New Hampshire. Hey, you're not too far away. Hello from Maine. Old school repair shop, you'd have to EFI it. Yeah, exactly. You'd have to run an Ecotron system. I've actually talked with them numerous times about setting up a lawn tractor, but that's a $600 bill I'm just not willing to bite at this point. But someday, we're going to get the channel big enough to do it at some point. Well, let's see if we can center this a little bit more. And you like the fish? That's my wife's contribution. She works for the Maine state. Let's see. Put the word garbage on the wall. Okay, sure. We'll just write garbage right here. Everybody will be all set. That way they're all happy. That's great. Oh, by the way, did you guys see my cup? I love this. This is my new cup that I just got in through the new merchandise program that they're running with YouTube. It says cheap welder, $1 million ideas, redneck computer geek on the other side. These are great. They actually finally decided to quit being stupid about the price. Oh my God, who in the world wants to go and spend 20 bucks for a coffee cup? I could not believe that. When the Teespring, Tea whatever thing started with YouTube and they asked guys like me to go and start making merchandise through YouTube, 20 bucks for a coffee cup was what they wanted to go and project that you guys would spend. I don't think so. I think I got them marked right now so that I only make like 80 cents a cup or something if you guys want to go and buy one. If you look down in the set of links, you can go take a look at the stuff I've been working on. I want to make up a set of shirts that are this also. There's kind of a test run series already down in the links if you want to take a look at that. But how about a nitrous kit for a drag motorcycle? It's about $250 for a kit that you can tune down for a smaller shot. You know, that's actually not that bad of an idea. a motorcycle nitrous kit actually would be a fun thing to try. Yeah, I guarantee we'd blow a hole right straight through the top of the piston if we didn't end up just blowing a hole through the valve cover. Although, if we did it on an overhead Briggs, the head gasket would probably give out first, since those just give out just trying to mow the lawn. 17.5 horsepower single Briggs just love to go and just eat those head gaskets. During the summertime, I keep like 5 on hand up on my wall. Go-kart NOS kit. Actually, there's been a whole ton of YouTubers that have gone through with those go-kart NOS kits, and there's just a big hubbub about that. A lot of people ended up actually finding that some of the Chinese knockoffs and stuff, they weren't actually putting out NOS. They were putting out something like concentrated oxygen or something like that. They weren't actually running a NOS system. It was another what is that term I'm looking for? I can't think of it right now. I'm sure one of you internet sleuths will end up pulling it up at some point. But they ended up being fakes, and the guys had spent like $45 on them. So I'm not quite sure I'll end up doing that. CO2, yeah. Let's add something that puts the fire out into the fire of the engine. All right, let's see. We have something in common. We're both idiots sitting in a chair. Dylan wins. You get 2 points, Dylan. It helps bring people in through the algorithm. Plus, it's hard to take off deck. You ran over a cinder block. That's great. That's a good way to go and add some lovables to it. Actually, speaking of running over cinder blocks and stuff, I started setting up the top link when you guys get down into the description. There is my Amazon affiliated store. And hey, thanks anybody who purchased through that last week. Apparently, a couple of you decided to go in. You purchased 3 different items, and I made a grand total of $2.39. So thank you, whoever decided to purchase some welding wire and a couple of other things through the links. I really appreciate that. But yeah, going back to the cinder blocks and stuff. In the Amazon storefront that I set up, I ended up putting some of the blades that I now use on fixing lawn tractors, and they're industrial rated blades, and you literally can beat the absolute piss out of those things. You could hit a cinder block, I guarantee, and it would survive. You would break your spindle every time before you ever bent those blades. They're just insane. I've used them on several machines now. I won't buy anything else for my own personal stuff, but that's why they're in there. That Amazon affiliated store, I'm making sure that I only put it with stuff that either you guys see in the videos or that I'm actually running here in the shop and stuff like that. I stand by everything I have posted down in there. I've either used it, or I constantly use it, or it's been in one of the videos that you guys have liked. My turn. Hello from NC. NC, is that North Carolina? Hello, North Carolina. Granite Falls, Washington. Gee whiz, you're off over in the na-na land. All right, let's see. All right, let's catch up on some of the comments. I apologize if I skip anybody with a how-to question or anything. Let's jump back down through here. Whoa, you're right. No Furbies. Yeah, you're right. There is no Furby right now. They're off and behind over here. Oh, we can grab one. We'll grab it. We'll grab one. There, does the world feel right again? There's a Furby now in my video. Let's see. All right. Let's see here. What else we got? Oh, by the way, well, we got everybody here. Let's see whether we can do this. So it is, yeah, we're about 15 minutes in. That's perfect. That's about where I wanted to be. Anybody want to see the lights? Let's look. Look. There we go. All right, so who wants to try and win them? I've never done a giveaway before, so we're going to try something new here. And let's see here. So if we hit paste here and we hit enter. All right, let's see. Anybody see if you can click that link? This is a new thing we're trying. Let's see what we can do here. Now, if the link there doesn't work, I'm going to tell you another location you can go in order to go and get the link later on. So later on in this video, if that link doesn't work, I am going to tell you that there is another location you can go for the link, but that's further into the video. I won, yes, thanks. No. The giveaway, it starts tonight. It's going to go until the 13th. And what it'll do is it will email me a random person in order to go and win the set of lights. I will get a hold of you and I will ship them directly to you. Oxbeam decided that they wanted to go and sponsor us with the mud mower stuff. If you're interested in the lights, yet again, going to that Amazon page in the mud mower section, I have those lights linked. So if you're interested to go and take a look at what's going on, that's what's there. They're the same exact lights that I use on main mud mower. I love them. They're amazingly bright. They work really good. Link works. Thank you for confirming that I'm not an idiot and I managed to copy and paste a hyperlink. You know, with YouTube stuff that's been going on lately, I was actually kind of worried about that. So not to get into the drama of being a YouTuber and stuff like that, but a 5-second thing for everybody, because a lot of you guys, I recognize your names and stuff from sending me emails and things like that. So I know that it affects you guys. Basically, what YouTube has decided to do is that because of the pedophile portal, as a lot of us YouTubers are calling it right now, any channel that has active comments that potentially has references towards the kids on the channel potentially was considered a pedophile hangout or a pedophile place to go lurk or look or something like that. And so for some reason, me having the kids in the Power Wheel stuff ended up qualifying underneath that algorithm. So they ended up turning off my stuff for my comments. They then allowed me to turn my comments back on. And then 2 days later, all of a sudden out of nowhere, they decided to turn them all off. And I'm currently fighting with YouTube right now to get it fixed. But as you guys know, Maine, as in the state, mudmower@yahoo.com. You're more than welcome to go and send me a question or something. Also, down in the description, you'll notice the Facebook group is there. The Facebook page also has a messenger function. You're more than welcome to go and send me questions there. If I don't know, I probably know somebody who does, and we can work with it from there. Hey, look, we got T-Man's go-karts here. How we doing, T-Man? So for those of you who don't know, T-Man's an older YouTuber. He actually has been on about 2 or 3 years longer than me. We actually used to do live chats on a regular basis together back on his old website. So hit him up. He's a good people. Did I get notified about when YouTube decided to shut my comments off? The answer to your question is I did the first time. The second time, I did not know. And actually, technically, I didn't get notified either time. Actually, I ended up getting barraged with 31 emails when I normally only get about 3 a day in under about 8 hours. And you guys reached out. You told me what was going on. And from there, I ended up going to my my creator studio, and there was this little itty bitty thing about it up at the top. And that was it. They never sent me an email. They never sent me notices. They never did anything to contact me. So I got the comments turned back on. And then about 2 days later, instead of 31 emails, I ended up with closer to, I think it was about 25 that time. And all of a sudden, they turned my comments off again. And I'm fighting with them right now, along with about 400 plus other YouTubers that I'm communicating with, and we're trying to go and figure out. Let me see here. Okay, so let's get back on to questions and stuff rather than this stupid stuff. Let's see. Hi, I have a 17 horsepower Briggs & Stratton with the valves knocking really bad. One shop already told me it wasn't worth fixing. What's your opinion? All right. My opinion on valve knock. My opinion on valve knock is adjust your valve lash. Adjust your valve lash once. Run it. Let it sit. Go back like 2 days later. Okay? Adjust your valve lash again and double check. If you still have knock in your valves after that, you definitely have something going majorly wrong. The other thing that I'll tell you is that Briggs & Stratton is notorious for the aluminum rod for their valves ending up wearing on one side and catching slightly. And you can actually take the rod, because it'll settle to one side. You can actually pull it out, twist it 180, put it back in, adjust your valve, and get it up and running. But it'll eventually vibrate back around to the point of where it catches. Do not act like some other YouTubers that thought they were brilliant and replace that aluminum rod with a steel one, because it doesn't expand correctly with the heat of the engine, and it'll end up causing wear and tear on the motor, because it'll cause the compression that the valve is supposed to have to change incorrectly. The blind guy here. Hey man, I'm doing pretty good. Life is kicking up. We're doing pretty good. Got a lot going on, but it's progressing, and in a good way. Oh, T-Man, you wanted to see the lights? Yeah, here we go. You know what? I'm going to send them out to somebody. Let's pull one out in order to go on show. Let's see here. I made sure the box was geek-proof. Hey, that was interesting. Apparently, the top of my head to the whiteboard ended up causing some sort of spaz in the camera. That's a new one on me. Hi, anybody want to see what one looks like? Oh, there. Isn't that nice? Okay, fine. I'm mean. Hi, I'm not going to pull it out too far because of the fact that I don't want to scar it up for the next person in case they want it nice. But aren't those nice and pretty? I love mine. They're absolutely amazing lights. I'm really, really glad to work with Oxbeam. They've been wonderful sponsors and they've been very good to me. I can't tell you the number of times that 20-inch light bar on the top of my truck has absolutely made things so much better. Oh, that's got the wiring harness with it also, by the way. That's why the box is so long, because the lights are only to here. The rest of this is all wiring. All right, let's see. All right, so I'm going to assume everybody figured out what my email address is. There we go. Those lights are exactly the same as the one in your Hydro Murray. That's awesome. I really enjoy them. They work really great. Very bright. They have excellent coverage. And I just can't say thank you enough to Oxbeam for sponsoring me. They've been really great. How about them state inspections? Oh, somebody wants to add some gasoline to the fire. Oh my word. That video has been so interesting to go in to have everybody talking on. I've had some guys that do actual state inspections get on there and write some of the nastiest comments to me. They obviously aren't watching the video or they're not listening to the way I'm coming across. It's that the inspections were done incorrectly, and that if somebody like me that refuses to drive a vehicle with a hole that big in the frame. Did you see that chunk in my hand from the Jeep? Oh my gosh. And so, you know, if somebody like me hadn't have bought that vehicle, it would still be on the road with a valid inspection sticker. I mean, they just don't get it. They don't get the fact that the inspection system doesn't work because there's just too many crooked places. I mean, here in Maine, you literally can walk into a bar, be from totally out of town. You can walk into a bar. I've done it all over the state when I was growing up. I had an Escort wagon that I got it through like 4 inspections it never should have passed. And every single time, about a month or so before it needed inspection, I would walk into a local bar at a town like half an hour or so away from here. I'd walk into the bar and I would casually start a pool game with a couple of guys, and I would just, I'd sit there and I'd have my, well, it'd be a beer at the time. It's a ginger ale now. Let's see, we have a Gooseling ginger beer. This is my wife's latest find for me. It's really nice. I like it. But anyway, so it'd be a beer at the time, and I would crack it, and I'd put my head down, and I go, man, I really don't think that my Escort's going to pass that one last time. And, you know, I just did tie rods on it, and I know they're not going to pass the ball joints, and it's got a rust hole in the rocker panel, but all I got to do is just slap a little Bondo on it. It'll be fine. I guarantee within 5 minutes, some local boy would kick up and be like, oh, you take it over to that shop. Just make sure you drop in. You got a 12-pack of beer, or make sure that when you walk in that you talk about how you understand the inspection system is so stupid and messed up, and offer him a 20 to do the inspection. Well, look you right up. And that's how Maine is, all across Maine. It is 5 minutes, 10 minutes on a pool table in the state of Maine. You can find out exactly what shop to go to in order to be able to get hooked up. And the system doesn't work. It's broken. All right, let's see. Let's catch up here. No ginger ale. Oh, whoops. No, actually, the mug is actually good old fashioned coffee. You know, just straight coffee. I started to back down off of coffee, and then recently I ended up back up. I probably drink about probably 2 pots a day worth of coffee. I really should get down off of it, but I don't. I've managed to stay off the Red Bull. I've managed to keep it just coffee, no Red Bull. I'm doing okay. But yeah. So there's the ginger ale. Sorry, I didn't catch a comment until just then. Dan and Mike's Fishing Channel. I have 35 subscribers. How do I get more? You know, that's a really hard question to answer, Dan. And, you know, I know a bunch of you. I know a bunch of you run smaller YouTube channels than me, and I totally respect that. And that's part of the reason why I do these live streams. So questions like this are cool with me. Just keep in mind, while we're on this basis, the one thing that is massively taboo when it comes to YouTube is I'm not allowed to go and talk about exactly how much money that I make. I can give hints. I can say that I pay my mortgage with it and my electrical bill, but I can't give you an exact amount, okay? But you're more than welcome to go and ask a question. So going back to Dan's question, I have 35 subscribers. How do I get more? Okay, so here's my big thing, Dan. In today's world, we have Facebook. And the biggest thing that I tell everybody about trying to build a YouTube channel is you have to go into it with no ego. Because the moment you walk in and you think you know everything, there is going to be somebody that is going to rip you apart. And once they start ripping you apart, that's when the wolves end up circling, and that's when they all come in. The other thing I'm going to tell you is that the best way to fight fire on YouTube is ironically just to totally ignore it. If you get somebody coming in that's posting up comments that are mean, that are whatever, let them go. Just don't ever respond to negative comments. Let them totally go and let them continue to comment. Because ironically, the reason why it is all of us YouTubers are so pissed off about this pedophile thing is that comments go towards the algorithm that helps us get views. So you want those comments. It doesn't matter how negative they are. They can sit there and they can say whatever they want and let it go because it just helps you. Now, the other thing I'll tell you is because of our world of Facebook right now is deliberately go on Facebook and find groups that are into the primary content of what it is that you do. And if you can find a group that say got 1,000 members, okay, let's say you can find a group that's got 1,000 members. It looks as if you got a fishing channel. So let's say that you particularly do salmon or trout or something like that, okay? Let's say that's what you go after is, I don't know, trout, okay? So find a group on Facebook, find a topic that they tend to have regularly come up, okay? And make a how-to for that topic. And later on, come in and post your video as an answer for that how-to, especially if it's correct, okay? And later on, somebody else is going to remember that, and they're going to go back for it. They're going to look for you. And when that active comment comes up, post up your video, your how-to, and it'll steamroll. It'll eventually catch on. And when other people that have the same question read that question, they see your video, they click on it, and they go to your video, they're going to subscribe. And from there, it's a snowball effect. It really honestly isn't that hard to build into the 100 subscriber mark. That's the first thing I tell everybody is hit 100 subscribers. You got friends, you got family, you got coworkers, okay? By the time you hit up friends and family, you know, right there, you know, mom wants to watch her kid on YouTube. You know, the crazy uncle wants to check in on you, your cousins that want to make fun of you, and your coworkers that think that you're dumb. Right then and there, I mean, you immediately got like 35 subscribers. Okay? So just branch it out. Find areas that are safe for your primary topic, and then post accordingly for that. You should send the video link to the DMV of Maine. Actually, T-Man, my video managed to end up getting posted in a couple of different spots that may or may not end up with me having some interesting messages later. But let's just say one of the local shops ended up dealing with my video in a good way. I do want to catch that. They dealt with it in a good way. No inspections in Arkansas. Interesting. Good to know. I mean, there's only like 12 states now that have the inspections. And the funny thing is Michigan is one of the worst rust out states in the entire area, and they have no inspection law. Nope. Sorry, T-Man. Have fun. Go help out the missus. That's always very important. I'm actually waiting for mine to go and get home later. And so we'll run this chat for a little while. So, oh, by the way, hey, we're at a little bit past 7:35-ish. All right, so for those of you that are currently watching this, I'm not sure whether the hyperlink that I posted earlier is going to be active, but I'm going to repost it again for the new people that have come in. So here we go. We're going to post that up so it's active for the new people that have ended up showing up. But the other thing that I'm going to say is that the link that I just posted in this video right now in the chat is also in the description right now of the video. If you go down and you search in the description, you're going to find it hidden down there also in order to be able to click on and enter. Like I said, you have until the 13th to be able to enter, and then it'll generate a random winner, and I'll get a hold of you, and we'll send it out. All right, so let's see. What else do we got going on right now? What's the rules to win these lights? The answer is follow the link, enter the email address, and from there, we figure it out from there. They're going to choose a random person. The whole point is that it's entirely random. There's no favorites. There's no nothing. I wanted to make sure that I had an ongoing service to be able to do giveaways like this. I've actually got 2 or 3 potential more sponsorships going on. So we're going to see where we go from there. How much longer are you going to be on? I want to share this. I actually scheduled to be able to go and be on probably until 9-ish or so, depending on whether comments end up dropping off or not. I got a couple of things to go and show you guys, and I might pull in or whatever. And otherwise than that, depending on whether comments drop off, I'll probably go until 9 as my shut off. So another hour and a half from now, as long as comments keep up. Or the Furby says something. I don't know. He hasn't talked in about 3 years, so I don't expect that. Connecticut has no inspections. That's interesting. I actually was very surprised that Connecticut was one of the ones without inspections, because they actually use the same kind of calcium stuff that we do here in Maine. Although we ought to just decide to go and be like Canada and use beet juice. Any of you ever seen that? They use beet juice in Canada instead of salt and calcium on a lot of the roads. Look it up. It's some interesting stuff. Old School Repair Shop says I'm back. What did you miss? Well, see, the Furby had all these demonic noises coming out of it, but we just ignored it. That's all that happened while you were gone. I swear. Is Wednesday night your live stream? It'll probably be every other week. My goal this summer is to be able to go camping at a couple of places that are definitely not going to have internet service, possibly during the week. So I deliberately scheduled an every other, and we might arc that around or move it around a little bit based on camping schedules this summer. But that's the goal. As it is right now with my wife's job, she works all day on Wednesday. So it allows me to have time to work in the shop and then also divide the shop in a spot in order to be able to do these live chats, because otherwise right now where I'm sitting would be covered in random scraps of metal and all kinds of stuff that I'm building and playing mad scientist with so that I can entertain all of you. So Wednesday just works out because it's the least number of people in the house and I can get everything moved around. Hello from Bangor, Maine. Hey, dude, you're only like an hour from me. Maybe I'll end up catching you sometime up there when I'm going tractor hunting. Bangor is kind of a weird place to go tractor hunting. You either end up with like something that all they had to do was Google it and they would have been able to fix, or you end up with the most beat to snot, why in the world did I ever drive up here tractor ever. Rockland's the same way. I hate tractor hunting in Rockland. There's certain sections I just don't even bother going into if that's where the tractor's GPS comes up. Cowgirl Motorsports, where you work at? Actually, Cowgirl, Cowgirl named Steve. I'm going to be doing a video about my work at some point, probably in a week or 2 weeks from now, due to the nature of things. So I'll end up doing a video on that. Haven't quite decided when I'm going to do it because of some other stuff that's up in the air right now that I need to deal with. But I will do a video about my work and I'll post it up. It'll be an independent video. After that video is up, I will gladly answer questions about my work in live chat. But for now, I'd rather just keep it to tractor and Power Wheels and YouTube questions and stuff like that. But I will be answering that question soon. Just give me like a week or two. I've got other stuff that I'm trying to sort out, okay? How's the happy farming going for you? How's the happy farming going? Farming is what it is. It's the middle of winter. There's no farming right now. Hello from Kansas. Hey, there we go. Is that the Wizard of Oz place? I can never remember. Yeah, we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. Yeah, there we go. You're the guys with all the tornado-y thingies. See, we don't usually have tornadoes or anything like that. We get like these micro earthquakes, and that's about it. You know, about once every like 8-10 years or so. Yeah, about every like 8 to 10 years or so, we get a hurricane that'll come up through and might wipe out a bit, but that's about it. All right. Doug, if you want to go and send me an email, it's the same email that's on the end of most of my videos, most of the Power Wheel videos. If you look at the very end of it, anything recently in the last like 9 months, it'll say if you'd like to get a hold of me, and then a couple of different options that you can use, including being able to go and send me something to the local post office. You need to mute all the Furbies. They probably want to tell you how to run the shop anyway. Heard some crazy stories about them things. Actually, almost everything that you hear about Furbies is just an urban myth. Most people don't know this, but So Furbies, when they first came out, the U.S. government actually ended up deciding to go and ban Furbies from being brought into government facilities, and that it was an actual honest to God thing, and it was an overreaction. And the thing is Furbies, they well, to heck with this stupid thing. I don't need it here in order to talk to you about it. So Furbies actually have a timer built into their program. And what the Furby does is it pretty much only uses the microphone in order to be able to hear the fact that you're talking to it. It doesn't actually care at all. It doesn't actually care at all what it is you say to it. You can swear at a Furby. You can yell at a Furby. You can talk to the Furby. You can babble like a baby at a Furby. It will always progressively gain the same amount of capability of talking based on the amount of time that it records you talking to it, not what you say to it, because it never records anything that you say. And so that's the reason why Furbies ended up in so much trouble, is because people thought that they were recording conversations and that they could actually learn to talk, and they don't learn anything. The computer in a Furby is actually geared so that it starts off with a lot of Furbish, and the more that you talk to it, the more it swaps out the Furbish word for English words until it finally hits the point that it speaks no Furbish whatsoever, until you end up removing the batteries, and then at that point it resets the cycle. But that's just one of those fun little things. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Yeah, tornadoes suck. I bet they do suck. I can't even imagine. I think we have like 3 tornadoes a year or something like that here in Maine, and they might happen to go and tear a couple of roof panels off, but they don't destroy houses. Let's see. Do you have a group that does tractor mud runs? There's a couple of different groups that do around the United States at this point, and apparently there's actually a couple of groups that are over in Sweden right now and the UK. There's apparently 3 or 4 groups that are in the UK. The problem is most of your actual like big mud group competitions and stuff that they're trying to go and do, they're down south. They're not up north here. I do have a place that has agreed to go and let me show up. He said that he will let me run the same terrain path as the ATVs. And so our goal is to get up there this year and go check it out and see what we can do to get something going and together up there. The problem is it's about a 2.25 hour drive from where it is that I live. So I've got to see what I can do about making it there. Let's see. Do Furbies have good stuff like loosening old engines with their farts? Actually, what I'll tell you a Furby is really good for is putting it on top of a motor, on top of the flywheel, so that you can actually see just how well the starter is actually spinning it up. Believe it or not, I use the Furbies for that all of the time. And the reason being is because you can actually see the Furby stall at certain valve points. So if it's valve lash adjustment that's the problem, you'll actually see it stopping and hitting those valve lash adjustment areas. Is a Craftsman 2 for 100 or best offer with bad steering and broken shift rod worth fixing for a mud mower? Bad steering and a broken shift rod. Well, okay, let's talk that out. So, broken shift rod. It's a Craftsman 2. And so the question there is it a side shift or is it a center shift down between your legs? Because if it's a center shift down between your legs and you broke off that rod, you've got something else going on, because that's a direct connection to that transmission, and you would have to be doing something really stupid to break one of those. If it's a side shift, then your problem's going to be getting a hold of those little linkage pieces if it's snapped off, and you're probably going to have to make your own custom linkage. So if you're handy with that kind of stuff, then it's probably no big deal. But do keep in mind, if you broke one of those linkages, there is a chance that something is seized inside the transmission, and you're going to be tearing that thing apart anyway. Now, as far as your bad steering, now, bad steering has all kinds of categories. I mean, that can be everything from you ripped a couple of gear teeth off on the steering, or it could be that you have the tie rod and that goes across the whole entire thing could be bent and you're just towing in the tires or towing out. I don't remember which one that does. But either way, you know, if it's the steering gear on the inside and it's a second generation steering setup, then those are expensive. They're about 50 something bucks. Actually, I probably got one available here in the lawn tractor stuff. Let's see, Mudmower build items. Let's see what do we got here. Do I have it in there? Or maybe it's in lawn tractor repair. Let me see. Okay, so yeah. So a second generation Craftsman steering setup without the steering column gear is $80. And the first generation one is $65. But if it's the little center plastic piece, those things are only like $6. And I made sure there's a link for it down in the store if you check the top link that's in the description. All right, let's scroll down through. Let's see. Okay, everybody say hi to Steve the cowgirl. There we go. We got apparently everybody's interested in a cowgirl called Steve. Let me see. Both problems are supposedly weldable. Oh, you're talking about the Craftsman too? Yeah, supposedly weldable is one of those interesting things that everybody says when they think it's going to be a quick fix, but they really can't do it themselves. Just be careful. Go take some photos. Look it up. I mean, you can find most of the stuff on Amazon listed. All right, let's go down through. All right, so it came up side shift. Okay, so there we go. And use Craftsman linkages in order to go and make your side shift. Well, yeah, I mean it is what it is. Transmission is a transmission. If it's a 5-speed Spicer, or if it's a 5-speed Peerless 930, or if it's a 5-speed MST 205, I mean, basically the shifting is all the same once you get everything hooked up. And your shift linkage size on the top of the transmission is the same, and your stud to go into the transmission is the same. It's all a matter of the quality that you want when you're setting it up. I'm sure that'll blow up in the comments somewhere about the different quality of transmissions and some Spicer versus Peerless fiery feud down below of some sort. But whatever, that's exactly what this is here for, so that you guys can go and be able to vent or ask questions or whatever you want. Let's see. Reese, you need a light bar? Are you sure you need a light bar? You could always go and find the link that's hidden in the description and go sign up in order to win a free light bar. Woohoo! Just throwing it out there. I mean, it's free. They got a hold of me and they want you to have it. So I'm here babbling at you and keeping you entertained in some form so that you can get something free, hopefully. Hey, you guys should go and check this out. If you guys are looking for a cute little device to go and pick up, I mean, this shows I'm a married man. I'm a married man because I am happy about a device that is awesome for working on something. Okay, look at this. This is a steamer. So you can do shirts and stuff. I thought this thing was totally going to be some sort of ripoff and some sort of scam, but it was like 25 bucks. I had to try it. It's Troll, something or other here. Troll handheld garment steamer. There we go. So it's this thing. And if you guys saw the original, if you guys saw the green screen video that I did before, you could see like creases in it. You could see the creases during the green screen video. This thing, like 10 minutes later, every one of those creases is gone. I love it. This is awesome. And it heats up really quick. You like punch the button on it and it warms up, does everything. So there you go. I wouldn't say buy it for her birthday or something, but this thing is awesome. I love it. Anybody that has to deal with wrinkly shirts, I mean, if you guys wear like decent shirts to go to work with or something like that, you got to get dressed up to go to a wedding. You're probably like me. You probably only end up getting dressed up to go to a church when somebody dies or somebody gets hitched, one or the other. But it's awesome. It's great. I can't wait to go and do the seats on my truck and get it all cleaned out. I'm loving it. All right, let's see. So did you guys post up some comments so that I can be able to go and answer questions instead of talking to you about probably the most non-manly item in my entire garage right now? I think Spicer was low man on the totem pole. No kidding. Spicer was definitely low man on the totem pole and still is. Footy and Spicer both are basically the same company at this point, which is really weird because Spicer actually makes some really, really good stuff for the big stuff. So does Footy. But yet, ironically, their transmissions for lawn and tractor use are some of like the worst. You know, it is what it is. I mean, you make money where you make money. Ever hear or see a Footy transmission? See, I got to catch up on the comments. I just ended up babbling about that. Peerless 2300. Yes, Peerless 2300 is a very rugged transmission. Hand over your man card. Hey, man, I'm looking forward to using that thing on my truck and seeing whether it'll take out some of the stains that existed before I owned it. So man card or not, it's going to get used on the truck. I'd like an 820 transmission. Had good luck with MST 206s. 820s are really hard to find up here in Maine. I think in the entire time that I've been flipping tractors, I've probably seen two. And they both were in big giant Murray GTs that I just could not, I couldn't not sell them in order to go and make a profit. I had to end up flipping them. How's the twin I-beam suspension going on the Craftsman? That's actually working really well. It works great. I've flexed it up and over stuff and things like that. It's got probably about that much travel on it from side to side and stuff like that. And I mean, it is what it is. You still have a solid mounted rear. So the flexing on the front is all well and good, but you still are going to feel it eventually when you hit it with the back tire. So just keep that in mind. I mean, it's really nice having the suspension up there. If you're going at a slow pace, it keeps you from tipping over and feeling all awkward. That's the one thing I like the most about it, is it really compensates in order to be able to flex over the top of stuff without tipping over onto the side. Because by the time it hits the back tire, your front tires are already over onto something else and they're leveling you out. Ever thought about putting a pit bike motor with a shifter into a mower? I'll tell you what my thing is with that. And my thing with that is my same exact problem that I have with Honda claiming that they supposedly have the fastest lawnmower in the world. It's supposed to have a lawnmower transmission. It's supposed to have a lawnmower engine. And the moment you start throwing in other engines from different things that definitely are not a lawnmower, it changes it. Kind of like when you deal with the pro street cars at a drag race versus pro stock cars. One's able to still go out on the road. The other one, on the other hand, the only thing it does is go a quarter mile and then shut down. And that's my thing about building, is I want to keep it so that it's lawn tractor stuff in it as much as possible. Let's see here. Shouldn't the Furby be the least manly thing in your shop? Okay, fine. Hash it out in the comments after I post this video or wherever you want. What is least manly? A Furby? Or this? Hash it out, those of you that are in the comment section after this video. Got any mowers to fix and flip this spring? Yes. The yellow Stanley Murray GT, we're going to rip that 820 out of it. We're going to find out why it is. It makes stupid clunk clunk noises. And we're going to figure out a way to fix it so that I can sell it. I know you guys want me to build it into a mud mower, but it's not going to happen. There's a reason you don't see dump trucks going to mud runs and competing. And that's just my philosophy on a Murray GT. So I'm going to rebuild it. I'm going to get it mowing and I'm going to flip it. And we're going to put the money towards building something else. But when I rip apart that 820, the click click 820, I am going to try to make sure to put it into a video. We're going to try to up our video content here once things get a little more level with some other stuff I'm dealing with in life. And we're going to try to go and get it to 2 videos a week, if possible, plus the live stream every other Wednesday. I am trying to go and up the channel. We're going to go and get more how-to videos. I'm also probably going to take some of the older how-to videos and I'm probably going to rehash or redo them and up the ante on them later on as I get a hold of machines that were from the same thing. That's part of the reason why we have the green screen here right now, is I want to be able to take this green screen and throw up a parts diagram. I want to be able to throw up a diagram of how the belt should run. I want to be able to throw up a part in order to talk to it, all that other kind of stuff. Same with the whiteboard. I want to be able to have it out and I want to be able to draw on it and show you guys stuff. So we're taking things to the next level. We're going to get a lot more in-depth on our how-tos as far as like visualizations for everybody to be able to see. And the other thing is, we get this video live chat stuff going really well. We can work with the idea of setting up this green screen so that it acts as a secondary active screen behind us. Behind me, and then we can throw up something. So say somebody had a question about gears in an MST 203 versus an MST 206. I could throw up a green screen thing behind me, and we could actually be able to have it physically there so that I could call off numbers for you guys to look at or see or something like that to visualize. Okay. I got footy 3-speed manual on my hot rod Huffy. LOL. Should the footy take a beating? Old school, I'm going to assume your footy is an open differential. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the one thing I have definitely noticed about the Spicer and footy transmissions I've watched other people run versus what I run is that I came up with and I use the zinc locker when I build footies and spicers. Excuse me. Apparently that's got burps in it. Geez. Sorry, guys. Apparently the seal managed to go and come back at me. Kind of sounded like a seal, didn't I? So the reason why I'm getting to that is that what ends up breaking in most transmissions when you're dealing with the lawn tractor stuff is they actually snap right at where the bull gear is in some form. They give out to one side or the other. And when you end up making the zinc locker on the inside, it turns all of that shaft, the spider gears, and your bull gear pin, it turns all of it into one solid piece. And at that point, there's nothing to flex. It can't give, it can't go anywhere. So you can't snap the case where it is the case usually snaps. Except for the problem I ended up discovering with that is that once you set that up, then the next weakest link is actually the rod that your gear ratio rides on. And if you end up clutch dumping it and you end up locking it up in about fourth gear, it will actually torque it up and it'll snap off the entire gear assembly on the inside. I've got one here somewhere. Where'd I put that? Give me just a sec. I got one. All right, so here we are. And I'm sorry, everybody. I'll catch up down on the comments in just a sec. So this is actually out of an MST. But so here are your gears. Okay. And this would be your reverse gear. Okay. So you got reverse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is out of a 5-speed, I mean. But what ends up happening once you end up making that rear bull gear assembly, either a locker block, a zinc locker, or a dock locker, is your next weakest link is actually right here. So it's all well and good to go and get that rear as locked up as you can, and it's a great idea to go and put in a dock locker in order to be able to make it so it's one solid piece across there, because you're less likely to snap the case in half. But do keep in mind that this is what happened to me 3 different times while plowing in 3rd or 4th gear. Hey, while we're here, for anybody that is just joining, if you're here because of the fact that you wanted to go and see the giveaway, in order to be able to do that, I'm going to post a link right now. There we go. Okay, let's skim down through the comments. Let's see if we can go and catch up on stuff. I'm sorry if I missed something for anybody. I'm trying to focus on comments that everybody will end up learning something from or catch or need something like that. What mower blades were you talking about? All right, so let me see here. You're looking for the max power mower blades, the AYP blades. It's a max power 561713X commercial grade mulching blades. And if you go to the link in the top of this video description and you go to the lawn tractor parts that I have listed, you'll see it towards the bottom. I've also got the spindles for the Craftsman AYPs, the regular 3-point spindles listed down there. They're the 2 series that I tend to use, and the top pulleys along with the shafts that I usually tend to use. Engineering explaining meets redneck computer geek. Hey, you guys ask questions. I do the best I can. There's a reason you're here, and I'm just trying. Oh, there's a very sad thing going on in the world right now. It's that I can tip this over and nothing comes out of it. This is how a computer tech cries. Now I'm going to put it somewhere so I quit grabbing it because it's like the 3rd time I've grabbed onto it. Ah, there we go. Hey, you guys want to play a round of what's in the bag? Unfortunately, I can't show you exactly what's in it right now because I want to open it up on video. But I thought you might find this an interesting thing. All right, so if anybody actually paid attention during the subscriber update video that I just posted, you'll actually be able to guess what this is. Look, it's a bag full of parts. I got my hand over the tag right now, so you can't cheat. Bag full of parts. What's it for? The thing is, I already told you during the subscriber update video. I'll come back to that in, let's say, 10 minutes. That way we can keep things rolling. Okay, let's go down through here. What else we got going on? Let's see. We got Reese talking about going drag racing. I love drag racing. I get my Monte Carlo back up and running. I'm going to go and take it out for stock class and let her rip and enjoy it. That's one of my goals this late summer probably, is to go and start working on that. That way we've got an over the wintertime project on the channel maybe, or maybe a late summer rip into it, get it onto the road as fast as possible, and then in the wintertime go and fine tune it. But we'll see. But that is definitely a goal, is to go and work on the Monte Carlo this year at some point. And to answer the next question that's going to end up getting posted, it's a 1984 SS. It's a 305 with a automatic. I don't know why that wouldn't come out of my mouth. There we go. All right, let's see. Murray Mayhem. Hey, buddy, how are you doing? Dude, I'm doing good. Everything is kicking up, and we're making it. Pushing to go and take this YouTube thing to the next level and get things squared away. I should send you a picture of the transmission I'm talking about. Yes, feel free to go and send me a picture. Like I said, guys, I have no issue whatsoever about you sending me an email. Feel free to dump me off an email, and I will go through and I'll take a look at it. I'm not perfect. I don't know all the answers. That stupid seal. I don't know all of the answers, and I will do my best to go and help out in between dealing with everything else that I deal with. I saw the burp come right out of the can. Thanks. I'm glad somebody did. It was horrible. It came right out and it... We've all had it happen. Don't judge me. It's happened to you too. It's not a transaxle. It's literally a transmission with a chain driving the axle. Oh, okay. You're probably talking about a Peerless 700. If it's a Peerless 700, those are very cool. They're a very interesting setup. They're getting harder to find parts for unless you want to set them up for racing and stuff. The thing is they became really, really popular in racing. They're getting harder to find. If you watch for, oh, ironically, this thing, if you watch for really, really big snowblowers, pre Peerless making reverse geared MST 203s, most of them ended up using Peerless 700s for their really large snowblowers. I've actually got one stashed over here in underneath things. Yeah, I'm not going to try and get the camera over there to take a look, but that's another place to hunt around if you need a 700 is looking for snowblowers. Redneck Computer Geek, how do I participate? All right, here you go. I'm going to dump the link. Have at. Hola, by the way, since I noticed you were writing off in Spanish, most likely. Put a junkyard 4.8, 5.3. Oh, you want me to LS swap my Monte Carlo? I actually, in all honesty, if I end up doing anything with the Monte Carlo right off the bat, I'll probably end up doing the EFI conversions with the hidden EFI carburetor setups. I would like to maintain the 305 that's in it just because of the nostalgia of it, but I'll probably end up converting it to an EFI setup just because. The thing about carburetors is that when you have as massive a fluctuation, like here in Maine, between summertime to going into winter, you've got a difference of it being as much as 90 degrees to the other day, it was negative 15. So if you're dealing with a carbureted setup, you can have all kinds of different SKUs that you have to go and tune it for and stuff like that. I'd rather just go with an EFI and be done with it because of all the insane temperature SKUs that I have to deal with. Let's see. I've seen brand new 700s on eBay and such. Don't know if somebody is reproducing them, but most likely yes. See, it's not that they're being reproduced. 700s are still used in a lot of different things. It's just they're not usually used in large lawn tractors anymore. You can still find 700s in some of your Toro riders, like the little small ones that look like a go-kart with a pregnant cutting thing underneath them. I wouldn't even call it a deck. It's like a pizza oven that you know what I mean. But the 30-inch pizza oven mowers. But that's where most of those 700s are ending up now, and they're just not built the way that the old ones were. So that's the reason why a lot of your racers are looking for the older style. Can I send you a 700? We don't snow in Alabama. Sorry. No, get on eBay, just like everybody else. I am probably going to go and start, actually, speaking of eBay, I'm probably actually going to start an eBay thing later on this year or into fall in order to be able to go and clean out my garage during the winter time of whatever is left over from the season that I don't think I'm going to end up reusing. So we'll take a look at that. If I do end up doing it, I'll make sure to go and post up things for everybody here so that they can end up going after first dibs and stuff. Is the Monty a grandma fresh car? No, the Monty is a honest to God found in the barn with chickens almost in it. It's very, very in need of work. When we hit spring and I can move everything out of the garage and I can be able to start uncovering it, I plan to make a time-lapse video of me getting it uncovered for everybody to be able to see. And you know what I mean. I'll make a time lapse so that everybody can see exactly what's going on, and then I'll do a walk around to show you what condition it's currently in. And we'll get a nice, good, solid LED flashlight, get in underneath, and we'll show everybody. But it is coming to the channel. I have a name for it. I'll explain the name when I release it, and we'll go from there. Am I working on making a video for the snowblower adaptation? I'm trying to. I've run into a couple of things that I'm still sorting out. At the very least, I'm going to turn the build, I guess I would say, into at least a front PTO setup for the tractor. The problem is the way Maine is, we end up with either A, we hit about the second week or so of this month, and all of a sudden there'll be no snow. You'll just go from 20 degrees to 40, and that'll be it. There's no more snow. Winter's over. Or we hit about a week or two from now, we hit 40 degrees, we go into 50 degrees. Every idiot on Facebook decides to say how great spring is, and then we end up with some really stupid giant storm afterwards so that every idiot on Facebook can post up about how much Maine sucks because you live in Maine, God forbid you get snow. So I'm trying. I've run into some issues. I think I can make it work. I'm just not quite sure it's going to be this year. We'll see what we can do. Let's see. Oh, yes, the package. Okay, so what is the package? So, all right, let's play what is the package. Here's something round. Here's something you hold on to. This air passes through. This fuel goes in. There's a little box in here that's quite sparky. Okay, fine. So that was the stupidest one I've ever done. This here is a Hyafrum carburetor kit that comes with pull start, the carburetor, an air filter, and a spark plug from China for like 36 bucks for the Honda GX that was in the subscriber video. And is actually a plastic transmission Husqvarna clone. So I'll be interested to go and see what happens with that, because his is a 2000 and I think it's a 2008 if I remember. Thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. I will take a look at that. Maybe we'll end up making a video on that thing due to the recall, just to go and mix things up a little bit, just like the inspection video. Would you guys actually like to go and see that transmission if I dropped it out of that tractor and took a look at it and stuff like that? Post up some comments and stuff. Would you actually like to go and see the plastic transmission that's in my dad's tractor? We'll obviously take it apart on some day he's not home. Just, yeah, you know what I mean. What is the craziest thing you've ever eaten? What is the craziest thing you've ever eaten? Um, I can't really think of too many things that are crazy on an international scale. Like, I don't know, every Maine kid ends up eating some piece of a deer raw or something like that when they shoot it, some sort of thing like that. I mean, you know, all of us kids growing up, you always ended up eating strange stuff. I mean, I've eaten everything from raccoon to deer to squirrel to my grandmother actually used to know how to process out skunk in some form. Porcupine you can eat. We eat it up here as a survival thing if necessary. You can actually boil it down in order to eat it. I've eaten woodchuck. Um, eaten woodchuck. Just about anything that flies, I would probably eat. I'm not going to say what I've eaten because I'm not quite sure on what scale some of it may or may not be legal. And yeah, I grew up old school woods boy. If it is shootable legally in the state of Maine, I probably have eaten it in some form. How will we know if we won? Basically, what should happen is at the end of the time period, they're going to select a random. It's them selecting, not me. That's the whole point of why it is that I'm using their service. Actually, in the future, I'll end up having to go and pay $15 every single time that I do one of these giveaways in order to be able to have them do the service randomly in order to set up the email. This first one they're doing free as a YouTube sponsorship program, something or other that I signed up for. But after that, it's actually going to end up costing me $15 in order to keep it random for you guys to keep it fair. So they'll end up getting a hold of me with the random email that they chose. From there, I'll get a hold of the email, the person, and we'll set up a place for me to send it to you. Okay, let's see. Why would you have a plastic tranny in a lawn tractor? It's funny that you mentioned plastic engine blocks because of all the plastic intakes and stuff like that you see now. But if you really want something interesting to look up, you actually should look up the Saturn engine block making method, where they actually would take and sculpt the engines. I think it was the Saturn SC2. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's the one. I believe it's a 1.7 liter engine, and I believe it's a 1.7 and a 1.9 liter engine that they did it on. And the engine is actually a foam block to start with that they put in sand, and they pour the aluminum into it. They pull it out. They don't even bother cleaning off the outside of it. They hone out and they press the cylinder walls in. And if you look at one, you can actually clean it off and you can see the styrofoam block pieces on the inside. Look one up online. If you zoom in on a photo of one, you can actually see the foam block pieces. I believe it's an SC2 if I remember right. They were in 19 I believe it's 1991 through 1996, I believe. But the block itself was originally made of foam, and they casted aluminum into it. Do you have trouble finding Craftsman lawnmowers to rig up? Actually, I do, but I don't. The problem is most of the time in today's world, you end up finding a bunch of hydros. So as far as making mud mowers is concerned, yes. As far as stuff to be able to rebuild to sell, no. I can find all kinds of stuff as far as that's concerned. Cutlasses are still babe magnets. I'm not going to argue that, but nor am I going to say anything. I'm putting tire chains on right now. I tell you what, with that GT6000, when you got that plow on there, tire chains make a giant difference. They're definitely worth getting into. Um, I I can't even begin to state just how much of a difference that really makes. It's worth every bit of the $60 that they cost. Grandpa used to go and shoot dinner in the road from the window. Um, yeah, we there isn't a Mainer out there that doesn't know somebody that hunts from their pickup truck at the edge of a field. It is highly, highly, no ifs, ands, or buts, logging road, private road, whatever you want to call it, it is highly illegal in the state of Maine to shoot from a vehicle. It is still illegal in the state of Maine, as far as I know. It hasn't been revised yet that I'm aware of. It's still illegal to be in your own vehicle and shoot, even if you're on your own cornfield. Which is why it is you see the joking pictures of guys with a guys will get out of their truck and they'll set up a lawn chair in the bed of the truck, and then they'll sit in the truck. And the reason being is that if a game warden comes up or something, they claim that they were up in the lawn chair and that they got down into the truck for something. And that's just one of those, workarounds. Bear, yes. See, bear, if you've eaten bear, then you essentially have eaten raccoon, just so you know. They're in the same family, same oily type of meat, just one of those things. So if you ever want to know what raccoon tastes like, eat some bear. Let's see, Mill Hill Folk. I'm going to have to look into this one. Mill Hill Folk states you can see what looks like styrofoam pattern on the intake of an 8.1 GM engine also. I'm going to have to look that up because sand casting stuff is actually something I'm interested in getting back into. I actually just ordered up some mad scientist stuff in order to try and get back into doing sand casting. I have an idea. I have an idea for a new blast furnace for melting aluminum. I want to get back into that as a side note on the channel because I've got a few projects I think that we could do. I also want to get into dealing with the transmission problems of fixing the arches. And in order to go and do that, I've got to deal with some stick weld options and things like that. You should do a build wheel horse Mud mower next. You know, wheel horses you just don't see up here in Maine. I have a Bolin 66, which has a Tecumseh motor in it that's absolute junk. And I'm going to probably end up doing a restoration thing on that. I've talked about it in the past. There's another YouTuber. His name is I Save Tractors. Please go barrage him. Go barrage I Save Tractors on any random video that you feel like and say Redneck Computer Geek sent me. The dude is really cool. His channel is growing, and I really support what he does. But he does restorations, and he does beautiful restorations on lawn and garden tractors and stuff like that. He's actually in southern Maine, about 2 hours from me. I'm hoping someday to go and hook up with him and maybe do a collaboration of some sort. But I want to restore the Bolin 66. Unfortunately, not to keep. I don't really have a reason to keep it, but I want to restore it enough to be able to sell it and then move on to the next thing. I got a 73 Baja Bug, and I believe those LED light bars would be better than nothing on it. Well, good. Enter to win. Enter to win for your Baja Bug. Actually, I bet they would work awesome. My GoPro does not do the headlights justice in the video that I shot that I use them. Like, the distance that for some reason the GoPro shows is maybe half of what it is in real life. I really wish that it showed it better. I am building a Rally 2008 Honda CRV. That's awesome. Cool. Found a freshly dead rat under the shroud of a perfect 20 horsepower V-twin today. You think finding a dead rat is interesting? Okay, seriously? Okay. If you want to see it, in the comments section right now, I want to see at least 10 people right now write creepiest mummified animal RCG. If I get 10 people to do it, I will show you the creepiest mummified animal I ever found while I was working on something. I kept it because it's that creepy. You have to have 10 people right now comment creepy mummified animal redneck computer geek. I dare you. Do it. 10 people. And I will go get it. If not, you're going to have to wait until the next live stream that you can manage to talk people into doing it. We got one. Who else is willing? I dare you. Ben, it doesn't count if you end up doing it 5 times yourself. Oh, let's see. I found a mummified cat once. Awesome. Okay. There's enough of you guys. I get it. You want to see it. Here, I'll go grab it. Give me 5 seconds. I have to find something to hold it with because it still has stuff kind of coming off of it. So back years ago, I used to work at a restaurant. And when I was working at the restaurant, nope, not a duck. Try again. keep in mind, I live on the seacoast. So when I was working at the restaurant, we went to start up the furnace. Now, this is a big furnace. This is a furnace that was made for a restaurant that housed 500 people. And we went to go and set it up, and it just wouldn't fire right. It just was being stupid. It was doing the dumbest things. So we pulled the burner apart. We checked the entire burner. We put it back together. We put brand new parts in it. Still would not work correctly. And what would happen is it would fire, and then you'd hear like this really weird thing happen, and then you'd hear like, phoop, and that was the end of it. And what it was this seagull at a seafood restaurant, a seagull at a seafood restaurant, had managed to get itself down to the bottom of the flue entrance. And it got to the bottom of the chimney, and you had where the furnace came in. And what you can see is that right here, its tail is all kind of charred, kind of messed up, but yet all the feathers on the front are perfectly fine. Its tail was actually crammed because it fell down in and was stuck. It was crammed down into the chimney going to where the furnace went. And so every time the furnace would start to kick up and it would start to cycle out through, this caused it to fail. So there you go. Everybody got to go and see something new. I know that the seagull has been on the channel in the past, but I don't believe I've ever actually told the entire story as to how I ended up with it. So yeah, I used to work at a seafood restaurant. All the glorious things you learn about people. Ben, on your how do you enter, if you go to the description of this video and you look down through, you're going to see that I hid the link in the bottom of in the description of the video. I think it's the second or the third link, but I'm pretty sure you can figure out which one it is. So for anybody who is good at math, because I'm tired and I've been up since like 7:30 this morning, out of curiosity, I'm 35 years old, and I've had that seagull since I was 16. Somebody who feels like being good at math right now, please tell me what the answer is on how long that seagull has been with me and lived in almost 16 different places with me now. It must have been a Chinese food restaurant. No, not quite. Seafood restaurant with a dead seagull. Gotta go. Hey, have fun. Thank you for joining, and thank you very much for posting up comments and questions and things that I could go and help everybody with and be able to answer. I actually got to go and find some gloves here. It's starting to go and get a little chilly. Well, no, we only got a few more minutes left. I'll bide out for then. Working a mouse with a pair of gloves just doesn't work very well. Worst was a dead woodchuck in a generator. See, I've seen a lot of dead animals end up ironically in Ford transmissions. Like the older F-150s, they had like this weird little rubber gasket thing that went around where the shifting fork was in the T5s, I think it was, or T4s. And I don't know what it was up with rats or squirrels or whatever, but they would chew through it and they'd build a nest right in the clutch pack. And so you'd go to get into it, and the clutch would go down and lock it in, but it would never come back because the piss and stuff would rust it. And so when the hydraulic pushed it, it stayed. That was the end of it. You couldn't get it off. And Ford made this stupid thing where they mounted the hydraulic clutch cylinder was plastic with a plastic mount. And so you wouldn't even realize that the clutch was stuck, because when you went to push on it, it would pop off. And so it would go down, and you would think that you were all set, and you would start it. And you better hope that you parked it in neutral, because you weren't out of gear. "19 years, thank you. Apparently the seagull has been with me for 19 years now." See, that's what the internet's for. It's got all the answers. Oh, I got another thing you guys might find. Just one of those interesting little tidbits here. I found, where is it? Oh, here we go. I was splitting wood. Okay, yeah, I know, interesting, splitting wood. Roll with me here, okay? So I ended up cutting up a bunch of trees and stuff, a bunch of trees around the house, and I kind of had this log I cut up that ended up dulling out my saw a little bit more than I thought it should have, but I didn't think about it too much because the little cheap 14-inch saw blades, just, they are what they are, until I found this while I was splitting some wood today. Ready? So what's interesting about this is they're grown in. They're fully grown over. So you can see where one was and where the other one was. So I must have just barely missed that one with the chainsaw when I was cutting that up. But yeah, so I thought that was an interesting thing. I'm going to set that aside. All right, let's see. What do we got? We got about 15 minutes until 9 o'clock or so. Yeah, there we go. Oh, we got one more. It's funny that you should say that about a tree fort. Actually, that's one of the projects we want to work on this spring. But we'll get back to that. That'll end up on the channel also. All right, let's see. What else we got? Found a barn cat in the engine bay. Needless to say, upon starting it up, bad things happened. He was renamed Lazarus after that. Actually, I do know people that have ended up with chickens ending up in their engine bays. That's one of the things I actually end up punting the plow truck for, is so that the chickens aren't up inside of it, or one of the cats. Yeah, the thing about a plow truck when you set it up is that if it's got a hydraulic pump inside the engine bay, it's really easy for an animal to get up inside and sit on top of that hydraulic pump. And so it's not starting it that's too bad. It's when they decide to try and jump down through the same way that they came in, that they get caught inside of the belt system. I hate nails in trees. They always find my chains. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Anytime you're anywhere near a residence or you're anywhere near a possible property line, you got to be paranoid about hitting nails. Yeah, anywhere that's within, like, just above head height on a tree that's near a residence, you got to be paranoid about nails. I was cleaning my wood burner and found a door hinge. Excellent. All right. Yep. Make sure to bang the hood of your car before starting in the winter. It definitely, if you have any kind of cold environment or something like that, you need to. It's it's a requirement. I love the Duramax motor vids. Well, thank you. I really have enjoyed experimenting with the Duramax motor setup, and I've really enjoyed trying to go and look into what it is it's capable of and what it is that we can do with it. Um, I'm debating. I'm debating. See, I've tried to go and get Duramax to talk to me. I've sent them a couple of emails. I have reached out to them multiple times through many different sources, including Facebook and a bunch of other stuff. Like, I don't understand why it is they wouldn't want to go and see somebody building stuff out of their motors, especially since one of their number one advertisement campaigns all across Amazon for their 7 horsepower is go-karts and being able to have push button start on a go-kart. I mean, you can't get any cooler than a push button start gas powered Power Wheel setup, but it just is what it is. But I'm really debating furthering the is it just an overpriced Predator argument by buying the Predator Stage 3 kit, I believe it is. I think it's the Predator Stage 3 kit that comes with the stage 3 piston and uh, piston and linkage and stuff like that. Yeah, build a racing motor idea out of it. Because one of the arguments about why it is that it's not a a Honda clone is the argument is the piston size potentially is different. But the problem is Duramax doesn't want to produce anything for information so that guys like me can know. So I have a Predator block sitting right here out of the original gas-powered Power Wheel setup. I actually got a bunch of different blocks sitting right there. Let me see if I can spin this around. Yeah, so right there you can see there's a Subaru block. It's a 4.5, I believe. You can see there's a Predator block sitting right there, and there's some other random engine parts sitting next to it. I mean, I've got spare carburetors, I've got spare gaskets, all that kind of stuff. So I mean, there's no reason we can't get into the idea and try and sort out what it is. Is it real? Is it actually an independent engine like they claim, or is it just another Predator? Um, so I don't know. Maybe we'll get into the stage 3 kit. Maybe we won't. We'll see. We got to see how finances go later on in the year. Pro tip: pull those metal splinters out before your skin grows over. them so you don't have to rip the skin off to get them out. Yeah, I don't know whether that was you talking about yourself or whether you were talking about something you saw in my hand. I've actually ended up digging 3 different splinters out of myself today. 2 wooden and 1 metal, and I got another one embedded there. You ever have one of those days where like every time you touch something, somehow it makes you bleed? That's been my day today. All right. I hit a nail with my farm boss, saw it kicked a nail out and into my leg once. It sucked. You know, I bet it would suck. Actually, years ago, you know those stories with like the dumb guy at work that nobody wants to work with? Well, I used to work construction. And I had this guy that I was working with, and he the guy that I was working with just was number than a pounded thumb. No observation skills whatsoever. And we were working on installing some insulation. And let me see if I can do this. So I'm here and I'm holding up some insulation. And right here is the by-4, like this. So I'm holding the insulation. So he comes down through with a staple gun. And, you know, anybody else would go bang, bang, bang. Oh no. Oh no. He went straight through the center of my thumb. Bang, bang, bang. Like, are you kidding me? I'm not a violent person, but I hit him hard enough that he ended up 6 feet that direction on the ground, and that was the end of it. You know, just one of those like reactions you really can't help. But who in the world does that? Like, just bang, bang, bang. And he just kept going. Like, he did another 2 or 3 down the thing before like I finally came out of shock and I hit him. Like, people are amazing. People just are so amazing. All right, so we got a couple minutes left before we end up stopping around 9 o'clock. Everybody here was talking about the giveaway for the last couple of seconds here. So I want to reiterate for anybody that's been watching or just tuning in or has been skipping around. Oh, excuse me. That stupid seal has a lot of burps in it. I don't think I'm going to have that ginger ale for the next live chat. So down in the description, the link is hidden down in the description. And just so you know, while you guys were coming in onto the live chat, I live edited it into the description so that people weren't able to just plain use it before coming into the live chat and stuff. So you guys ended up being able to go and get the first spread on it. But there's the link again for the end of the video so that everybody that's signing in towards the end of the video can be able to get the link. And I really appreciate everybody that came in and did your comments. I'll answer 1 or 2 more just because we got a few more that are sitting here rolling over, and we'll go from there. But we're going to end up calling it good pretty soon. Have you ever taken the plow tractor mudding? The answer to the plow tractor mudding is my same answer that I ended up coming across earlier, is you don't see a dump truck at a mud run, and unfortunately the GT6000 is just plain a dump truck. I have ideas for building it into something that I would mud, but I'm running into some restriction issues when it comes to ATV registration in the state of Maine, which is something I'm trying very hard to stay around and with. And ironically, after posting my inspection thing about how everybody just breaks the law anyway, I'm trying to stay with the law. Have any hacks for converting fluorescent light fixtures and eliminating the ballast to LED? Go on instructables.com and type exactly what you just said into the search, instructables.com. You will find tons of how-tos on doing exactly what you just asked. It's really, really, really simple. I've converted 3 or 4 of them in different places, but I've never actually done one here at the house, or I'd show you. But yeah, look it up, instructables.com. You can find that kind of stuff. Cut my thumb dead on down to the nail in the shop. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this tidbit. For the next live chat, somebody needs to come back because I need to get this closed down. Somebody for the next live chat needs to come back and they need to remind me about an axe, a pair of Nikes, and tying bones together. An axe, a pair of Nikes, and tying bones together. That'll be my story I'll tell on the next one. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to call it a night. Everybody enjoy. Thank you very much for joining in on the giveaway and for everything else. And I can't wait to go and be able to do another live chat in a couple of weeks. This was a lot of fun. You guys have really participated. And I'm going to throw this out there also as a closing statement. If you don't want to be posting your comment here, I know some people feel like they look dumb if they're posting the comment or something like that. Please feel free to send me an email before the next live chat. Send me an email at like noon that day, because usually I'm out here working after about 5 o'clock. But send me an email with your question specifically, and I will read it off anonymously if you would like. Okay? So I'm throwing that out there for everybody, and we'll see what we can do. Have fun.